will be the site for this SUNYAC Conference Championship game. Hello and welcome. I'm Brian Fody alongside Dan Massey. And today we have a great matchup on hand as the Oneonta Red Dragons come in to Plattsburgh to take on the Plattsburgh State Cardinals. And Dan, as we look into this game, we spoke about it last night previously with the matchup that Brian Beckford presents against this Cardinals defense.
Yeah, Brian Beckford is going to be the number one option for Oneonta. He carries this team, and he's going to create a matchup problem for the Plattsburgh Cardinals. It's going to be interesting to see who Coach Curl decides to put on Beckford and try to shut him down, and he's going to be the key of this game.
And also for Plattsburgh, you got to rely on Chris Ruiz and Steve Thomas to step up and have big games for their teams and try to get this SUNYAC win. It should be a great one, but right now we'll take you to the Plattsburgh PA announcer for the national anthem and starting lineups.
And your Plattsburgh State Cardinals. Our SUNYAC student athletes and coaches welcome you to today's contest. As student athletes of the State University of New York Athletic Conference, we ask fans to support the goals of good sportsmanship. Please help us to maintain a positive, competitive atmosphere as we strive to reach our potential as athletes. Courtesy to officials, coaches, and competitors is expected. Profanity, racial or sexist comments, taunting and intimidating actions are expressions of poor sportsmanship and are grounds for removal from this site. We appreciate and thank you for your support and encouragement. Good luck to both teams and enjoy the game. Now, fans, please rise, and gentlemen, remove your caps and join us in rising as one nation and one people as we honor America with the playing of our national anthem.
And welcome back to Memorial Hall. And as we said before,
now let's meet the starting lineups for both teams. First, for visiting Oneonta.
For all the public to watch
at
live.
guard, a junior from Cohoes, New York, number 21, Brian Hooks.
Errol Danian on
at guard, a junior from Hurley, New York, number 2, Shane Gillette.
He could shoot it from behind the arc.
At guard, a junior from Brooklyn, New York, number 22, Troy Talbot.
And it's going to be a tough matchup for Danian.
At forward, a senior from Middletown, New York, number 15, Kevin Walsh. And at forward, a senior from Brooklyn, New York, number 33, Brian Beckford. The Red Dragons are coached by Vincent Medici, who is in his 6th season. He's assisted by Keith Thompson and Hayward Edwards.
Beckford, who's just a matchup.
Now introducing the starting lineup for your Plattsburgh State Cardinals.
A lot of good. The guard play that Plattsburgh has is clearly.
At forward, a junior from Coram, New York, number 4, Errol Danian.
And both Steve Thomas and Chris Ruiz.
At guard, a junior from Brooklyn, New York, number 11, Carl Mutterland.
They step up when it matters.
At guard, a junior from Plattsburgh, New York, number 23, Steve Thomas.
To this point, to the championship.
At guard, a junior from Washington Heights, New York, number 15, Chris Ruiz. And at forward, a senior from Wyandotte, New York, number 3, Ferris Thomas. The Cardinals are coached by Tom Curl, who is in his 7th season. The associate head coach is Cameron Conover, and the assistant coach is Anthony Williams.
Another key factor that's going to be for Plattsburgh is the play of Earl Danian. We might see him guarding Brian Beckford for Oneonta, so he might have his hands full on both sides of the basketball.
And with that, we're ready to go here, underway, as we'll get you the starting lineups right now. First for the Red Dragons, the 2 seed in this tournament, Shane Gillette, Kevin Walsh, Brian Hooks, Troy Talbot, and Brian Beckford, of course. And for the Plattsburgh Cardinals, the usual starting lineup that they've run out the past couple of weeks. Farris Thomas, Errol Danian in the front court, Chris Ruiz, Carl Munnerlin, and Steve Thomas in the back court. So Danian and Beckford will jump it in center court, and we are ready to go. Players shaking hands, as they normally do in basketball games, and we are ready to roll here in the conference final. Not as crowded as it was yesterday for the semifinals, but still a pretty sizable crowd here on hand at Memorial Hall to come watch this one. Remember, the winner gets an automatic bid into the NCAA Division III tournament. And we are underway as Beckford controls the tip to Gillette.
Now these are both the 2 best teams of SUNYACs. It's going to be a great game. Expect quick start, and should be a great one.
And right off the bat, Talbot had a shot at a layup, but it was missed, and Plattsburgh comes out with it into the front court. Ruiz puts up a jump shot and puts it in. So Plattsburgh gets on the board early.
And as you expect, Chris Ruiz, Mr. Big Shot, comes out right away, makes his first attempt. He could be a huge factor this game, and will be.
Early on now they have Farris Thomas on Beckford to watch, so watch that matchup. Talbot runs most of the point guard along with Shane Gillette. They get it to Walsh now. Guarded by Danian. This is Gillette. 7 on the shot clock. Talbot puts up a shot, and off the front of the rim and rebounded by Ruiz.
And as you watch Oneonta, you're going to see that they like to use the full shot clock. They're not a team that will force and rush things.
Danian backing down, goes glass and no good. Rebounded by Steve Thomas, puts it up, no good. Off the glass, gets to the offensive rebound and pulls out. So Plattsburgh early on here doing a nice job out rebounding. Danian puts it on the floor, flips it up, and rolls out. And taken down by Talbot. Up ahead to Beckford. Puts it on the floor, goes up, and draws the foul. So Brian Beckford will go to the line.
And right away you can see the 6'9" Beckford using speed, beating everybody down the court. And Plattsburgh's forced the foul
number 15,
right away. Beckford could be a factor in
first.
getting some people in foul trouble, too, throughout this game.
And most of the season this year, Errol Danian and Farris Thomas have been getting in some foul trouble this year, so we'll see. Have to keep an eye on that one, as the foul was called on Ruiz.
Shooting 1.
The first foul, that was his first and the team's first of the game. Beckford goes 1 of 2, and Cardinals lead by 1. 18:30 left here in the first half. Just underway here. Brian Fody, Dan Massey, Memorial Hall. Game being streamed live on PrimeLink.com. We'd like to thank them. Thomas on the baseline. Now drives, spins into the lane. Nice move by Steve Thomas and draws the foul as he will head to the line.
And that's a good sign for Plattsburgh, seeing Steve Thomas aggressive early. He had a slow start to yesterday's game, didn't score till about 10 minutes left in the game. But when it mattered most, Steve Thomas stepped up, and he ended up with 10 points.
He had 10 quiet points last night. Only made really one shot. He hit the big shot late in the second half when it counted, when the Plattsburgh was up 3. Hit that big shot to put him up 5, but really was an off night for him as he makes the first free throw.
And if Plattsburgh wants to win this game, he's going to have to play better. But it looked like he was starting to turn things around at the end of the last game, so for the Cardinals' hopes, he bounces back strongly.
And he is a very good free throw shooter for Plattsburgh, and he makes both of them. And Plattsburgh early on here has a 3-point lead, 4-1. Walsh with it. Gillette. Gillette puts up a 3 off the back of the iron and pulled down by Danian, and outlets to Steve Thomas. Ruiz has it now. Almost tipped away. Into the corner to Munnerlin. Finds Thomas. Ruiz to Steve Thomas. Dumps it down to Danian. Post up. Kicks it back out to Munnerlin. Drives the lane. Goes up strong. Counted it a foul. Carl Munnerlin.
They call a charge.
Oh, they call an offensive foul there. So, my mistake. as
Offensive
Munnerlin
foul.
draws the foul. Good, as Munnerlin creates the
Charge foul
foul
to
right there.
Plattsburgh's
Good
number 11,
defense
Carl
right there by
Munnerlin.
Gillette and Talbot.
First
Solid
personal,
defense
team
overall by the entire Oneonta Red Dragon team. They forced Plattsburgh into forcing a drive by Munnerlin, and Gillette was able to step up and take a charge. Good overall play by the Red Dragons.
So early on here, they put Ferris Thomas on Beckford. I kind of like that matchup. Thomas is a little bit better of a defender than Danyon. Talbot drives the lane and flips it in, so Troy Talbot gets on the board, and it's a one-point game.
And that's going to be a huge key for the
Troy
Red Dragons. Who's going to step up for them besides Beckford? And Talbot is a versatile guard, and he could be that person who has a huge game.
Ruiz, that's a 3 and 1. Chris Ruiz from downtown, and we'll have a chance for a 4-point play. Beckford gave him a little bit of a tap there, a little touch foul right there, and if you're going to foul from behind the arc, you got to make sure he doesn't make the basket, and that's a no-no, and Ruiz will head to the line for a chance at a 4-point play.
You don't want to give Ruiz the open look, but you definitely don't want to foul for a three-point shooter, and Ruiz always finds a way to energize this crowd, and right away he comes up with the opportunity to make a 4-point play.
And the free throw goes, so Ruiz gets the 4-point play, and Plattsburgh leads 8-3 with 16:50 left here to go in this first half early on.
If you're Plattsburgh, you're feeling pretty good by getting both your stars, Thomas and Ruiz, involved real early in the game.
Walsh posts up Danyon and rolls it in, so a nice hook shot right there from Kevin Walsh.
Walsh is the biggest man on the court. And if you have that, and if he's working that hook shot, it's going to be hard to stop.
Thomas gets inside and lays it in.
Thomas.
Good work by Thomas. Wasted no time on the shot clock. Pretty little spin move and was finished. Nice.
Tried to get it down low to Beckford. Intercepted by Ferris Thomas. Up ahead to Munnerlin. Ruiz spotting up from 3. That's good. 13-5 Plattsburgh leads.
And the Cardinals have come out incredibly. You can see the athleticism of Ferris Thomas by denying Beckford on the defense, and on offensive transition, Ruiz is able to knock down another huge 3.
Oneonta trying to slow things down as the Cardinals on a little bit of a run right here.
And it has been at the Plattsburgh State's pace. Been a quickly played game.
Beckford lets it go from 3 and comes up short empty-handed. Ruiz again from 3. More of an adrenaline shot right there, and it's tracked down by Ferris Thomas. Munnerlin steps into a 3, now gives to Ferris Thomas and banks it in. Nice pass right there from Carl Munnerlin.
Excellent look by Carl Munnerlin. He had the 3, but he saw he had the gimme deuce, and he's able to get the assist and the outstanding knowledge that Munnerlin brought to that play.
And the 7-0 run by the Cardinals forces a Oneonta timeout as Plattsburgh has opened up a 10-point lead.
That was a good timeout by Oneonta. Plattsburgh has been connecting on all cylinders. And Coach Medici for Oneonta is just telling his team to slow things down. To start off, the game has not been played at the Red Dragons' pace. They like to slow things down, while Plattsburgh, in contrary, likes to run with the ball. And Plattsburgh has forced Oneonta to play quickly on offense and made this a fast-paced game.
And you're right. Once again, we like to thank PrimeLink.com for streaming this game on the internet. And right now, the viewers on that website have gotten a good dose of what Chris Ruiz can do, as he has come out firing on all cylinders, hitting a couple of three-pointers and getting his mid-range jump shot going.
He's been Plattsburgh's leading scorer in the SUNYAC tournament so far. And he's been their biggest reason for why. He makes huge shots, and whenever Plattsburgh needs him to step up, he always seems to do it, especially in the pressure moments. It's amazing.
Walsh with it now. Gives to Beckford. Talbot brings it back out and resets. Now drives at Munnerlin into the lane. Floats up a jump shot. They call the foul on the floor, and it's going to be charged to Carl Munnerlin.
Interesting that foul was on the floor. I thought for a second it could have been shots, but apparently the call
for the Cardinals, number 5.
That's going to be his second foul. So into the game, check sophomore point guard Kenema Brooks.
And look for Brooks' quickness. Contrary to Munnerlin's shooting, Brooks can kill you with his speed.
And he is probably the fastest point guard in the SUNYAC conference. Hook steps back for three and misses. That was not a good shot right there. Not the style of offense that Oneonta likes to run.
2 feet behind the arc with a man in his face. You'd like to see him work it around a little bit for a better looking shot.
Brooks gives to Thomas. Floats up a shot way short and taken down by Gillette. Hook's on the wing. 14:30 left as a cutting Gillette gets a nice pass from Beckford and converts on the easy layup.
Excellent cut by Gillette, and you can see the eyes of Beckford. I'm just so impressed by his passing ability to find the cut of Gillette.
Nice crossover by Thomas. Couldn't finish on the shot, though, and it's pulled down by Oneonta. Red Dragons. There's Hooks spotting up from three. That's good. So Brian Hooks gets Oneonta back. So a 5-0 run brings the game within 5.
And the Red Dragons has responded quite well out of the timeout, slowing things down, working for open shots, and they found 2 open opportunities and converted on both of them.
Featuring Steve Thomas down low, turns and fires, no good. Offensive rebound by Thomas was stripped on the way up, and it's taken down by Beckford. Talbert into the front court now, goes at Thomas, into the lane, drive, throws up a shot, and one. Try Talbot.
Count the basket.
Impressive play by Talbot, going to his offhand, draws contact, and finishes. Exactly what the Red Dragons needed to get them. And right there, they're back into the game, only down 3 with the foul shot coming up.
At the line for Oneonta, number 22, Troy Talbot, shooting 1.
That's Plattsburgh's team's 4th foul, so something to watch as the first half moves on if they'll get into the bonus, if Oneonta will be in the bonus with a lot of time remaining. So an 8-0 run for the Red Dragons has them within 2. And we've seen Plattsburgh do this from time to time this year. They'll get up about double digits and they'll let teams back into the game. They can never quite, I know it's early, but they can never quite ever seal the deal. They always seem like they're in a close game as Ruiz blocked from behind by Beckford. Outlet pass to Beckford, puts the ball on the floor all the way to the hole and throws it down. Brian Beckford showing his athleticism.
Absolutely amazing. He's covering the Plattsburgh State's best offensive player. He blocks him from behind. He gets the ball back, runs down the full court ahead of everybody, and throws it down. This guy is an amazing basketball player.
Ruiz blocked again by Beckford from behind. Up ahead, tipped, and Hook saves it to Talbot on the drive to the basket and lays it in. Oneonta on a 12-0 run.
Oneonta has responded perfectly from that opening 10-point deficit. Chris Ruiz has been forcing a little bit on offense. I'd like to see the Cardinals working around and maybe feature Danny and down low.
Ruiz firing from 3, no good. Rebounded by Gillette. Into the front court now. Finds Beckford. Down low to Walsh. Posts up on Danny and spins left. Flips it up. No good. Taken down by Brooks.
Walsh wanted a foul. More of a force and a bad shot than it was contact. On
Ruiz lost it. Thomas finds Steve Thomas down the lane. Drive. Lost it on the way up. Gets it back. Floats it up. And they call a foul on the way up. So Thomas will be at the free throw line.
Thomas has been really struggling the past 2 games. He's trying to make stuff happen by
first personal,
making
third.
by going off the dribble and beating his man, and hopefully getting to the line and making a couple free throws will bring back his shooting touch.
Thomas is the best Cardinal free throw shooter on the team at 83%. Substitutions now for the Red Dragons as Dan McLaren and Derek Hahn check into the game. Also for Plattsburgh, Danny Tagney is going to come in.
He replaces Ferris Thomas.
And Thomas goes 1 of 2 from the line. So with 11:51, Red Dragons hold a 1-point lead over the Cardinals, 17-16. Brian Fody, Dan Massey here from Memorial Hall in Plattsburgh. Dumps it into Hahn. Missed the layup right there. That was a nice entry pass, but Hahn couldn't finish. Brooks displaying his speed and drawing a foul.
And Brooks wasted no time in that play. Got the ball, pushed it up the floor, and it was able to create a foul.
Ryan Green going to come into the game now.
22, Troy Talbot.
The foul was charged to Troy Talbot. That's his first, team's fourth.
With Beckford on the bench, we'll be able to see if the Red Dragons are able to keep up the momentum that they created throughout the past 4 minutes.
Ruiz lost the handle. And a backcourt violation. So Plattsburgh, after starting a game beautifully, going up 10, now finds themselves down 1. And Oneonta on a 12-1 run right now.
Yeah, Plattsburgh's been a little bit sloppy on the offense and defensive ends. Hopefully, man-to-man defense and maybe the crowd can get into it, bring them out of a little bit of a funk.
Green, hounded by Ruiz, drops it down low to Hahn. Hahn puts it up and no good. Taken down by Brooks, up ahead, and pulls it out and finds Thomas, who gives to Danian in the post. Back out to Ruiz. They feature Danian again. Cross-court pass. Swings it to Thomas. Puts up a three. Way short and taken down by Ruiz. Again lost the handle of the ball, and it goes into the hands of Gillette. Drives right by Brooks and lays it in. Not good defense right there from Brooks. And Oneonta extends the lead to 3.
And you can see that Thomas is hesitant in his shooting ability. He double clutched before the shot, and he missed kind of badly on his last attempt.
Tagney. Ruiz. Drives and throws it away. And Chris Ruiz, I don't know what's going on right now, but he can't find the grip of the ball. He's missed a couple, and now he's made a bad pass. So after starting out very hot, he's turned it over a couple of times here.
If I'm Coach Curl, I'm almost thinking of calling a timeout. And to me, I'm surprised they haven't gone to Danian. Get him involved. He's your big man, and he can open it up more for your guards and small forwards to do more work if you can create some offense down low. And he's your down low offense.
And Brian Beckford is checked back into the game for Oneonta. So Plattsburgh brings in R.J. Panesi, replacing Chris Ruiz. So they give Ruiz a break right now. Green drives baseline, stops, finds Beckford. He can shoot the three. That one comes up way short, and it's pulled down by Ponesi. 19-16 here early on. Plattsburgh trailing by 3. Steve Thomas. Thomas, mid-range jump shot from 15, rattles in and out and in again. So a nice shot right there from Steve Thomas.
Good-looking shot by Thomas, comes back in rhythm, squares to the basket, and a great-looking shot by Thomas. Maybe that'll wake him up a little bit.
19-18, 9:25 left. Talbot puts up a mid-range shot, way short, and not a good-looking shot right there. Too much isolation one-on-one.
A little bit of a force by Talbot, but he's been feeling it to start off.
And Tagney draws the foul. So that's Oneonta's 5th team foul. And
Oneonta foul number 10, Ryan Green.
Charged to Ryan Green.
Team's 5th of the first half.
And Gillette exits the game. In the first 10 minutes, he's been a huge part of Oneonta's success, finding assists and driving to the basket and getting a few layups. Great start by Shane Gillette, stepping up for the Red Dragons.
And a timeout taken by Plattsburgh as they couldn't inbound the ball. And with that, we'll take a little bit of a break. We'd like to once again take time to thank PrimeLink.com for streaming this game on the internet. And right now, as the 30-second timeout, Plattsburgh's got to play a little bit better defense right now. They've led Oneonta back into the game after getting up 10, and they can't really find the rhythm offensively right now, so they got to fight through that. And what do you think they got to do, Dan?
Well, at the beginning of the game, they were pushing the basketball, they were finding open looks, and they were beating Oneonta with their speed, quickness, and athleticism, and I think they have to go back to that. They're a little bit quicker and athletic than Oneonta. Taking the ball off the dribble, doing some pick and rolls is really going to help their cause, I think. And getting Danny and Ferris Thomas involved, and in this case, R.J. Panesi, now that Thomason is in foul trouble, is going to be a key in in Plattsburgh's success for the remaining of the game.
And as you're saying, yes, you need to keep out of foul trouble. As you're saying with that, and with that, I agree with you. You got to get Daniel more involved in this game. I mean, last night in the semifinal, he only missed one shot. He went 8 of 9 from the field, and that was really set up by nice passes. And right now, the guards from the point guards aren't really getting the job done right now. And Munnerlyn didn't play that good when he was in there. Now Brooks trying to get the offense involved as they post up on Ponesi. Goes it on, spins and turns, and blocked by Beckford again. And it goes off the legs of Tagney, and it caroms out of bounds. So a turnover for the Cardinals. And Brian Beckford is doing it all here early on. Just came out of nowhere and sent that ball into the third row.
Him, along with Ruiz, have been the most impressive players of this tournament, and he can do it on both sides of the basketball. Outstanding block and leaping ability by Beckford.
And they give it to him up top now with Daniel on him. Gives for Talbert. 15 seconds left on the shot clock. 8:40 left to go here in the first half. Beckford, 8 on the shot clock. Passes to Green, lets it go from 3. Short, and pulled down by Thomas.
Good defensive possession by Plattsburgh, making Oneonta work for a look, and they force a contested shot.
Daniel from 10 feet, no good, and they call a foul over the back on R.J. Ponesi.
A little too aggressive by R.J. Ponesi. Looked like he might have been going straight up, but officials saw him get into the back of Beckford a little bit. Coach Curl is definitely not happy about that last call.
And a technical foul has just been charged to him. So a technical foul going to be charged on Coach Tom Curley, who was arguing.
Plattsburgh State bench.
It looked like Curl stopped talking when he teed him up, but the ref had heard enough, and maybe that'll wake up the Cardinals. You don't want to get a technical foul, but sometimes when your coach gets a technical, it can wake up the rest of the team.
And maybe it does, as Hooks will take the free throw and makes it. He gets one more. So Hooks goes 2 of 2 on the free throws, and Shane Gillette's going to come back into the game. So
they replace Ryan Green and Derek Hahn.
Gillette to inbound. Red Dragons with a 3-point lead in the ball right now with 8:07 left here to go in the first half. Beckford gives to Walsh. Talbot. Hooks kicks it out. Gillette on the drive. Fumbled it a little bit and resets and puts a 3-point shot up and puts it in. The ref said signals for a 2-pointer. So Shane Gillette dribbling through penetration. Tagney with it now.
Look at
stolen by Gillette.
Shane Gillette on both sides of the basketball. He's been a creator on offense, and on defense, he comes up with the steal.
Talbot trying to get it to Beckford. They throw it up for him. On the low block, stripped away by Daniel. Beckford gets his hands in there and gets it back.
Every single bounce seems to be going the Red Dragons' way. Sometimes it's just the bounce of the basketball.
Talbot on the drive. Count it, and a foul. So Troy Talbot fights the contact, lays it in, and Brockport extends its lead to 7. Oneonta, excuse me.
And Plattsburgh is just in a complete and total funk as of right now. Somebody's going to have to step up and make a play. Even the crowd is a little bit out of it and restless for that matter.
So a 20-3 run for Brockport. Now make it 21-3 as Plattsburgh was up 15-5. And now they find themselves down 8 points. Ruiz.
And we haven't heard much from Ruiz since the start of the game.
And he makes that
Chris
jump shot.
Ruiz.
That's a good shot. He started off the game on fire, and we haven't called his name since, but that's a good sign for the Cardinals to get back in this.
Gillette. 3 seconds! Finds Talbot and goes up and draws the foul. So Oneonta looks very sharp here early on in the first half.
Give Troy Talbot credit. He's been able to get his way to the
Plattsburgh,
basket and find his way
RJ
to a free throw line
second
a few
personal,
times
teams
this
8.
game. And he's been a matchup problem for Plattsburgh. He's going on it at their guards. He plays big, too.
Oneonta, number 22, Troy Talbot, shooting 2.
Talbot is a junior guard from Brooklyn. Went to Legal Studies High School.
Into the game for Plattsburgh, number 3, Ferris Thomas, and number 23,
So Ferris
Steve
Thomas is going to come back in for the Cardinals, as the Red Dragons are really, right now, taking it to Plattsburgh early on here in this first half.
And it's been a team effort by the Oneonta Red Dragons, not just Beckford, but we're seeing the other players step up as well.
Lead back up to 8. Oneonta leads Plattsburgh by 8 in this conference final game. Brooks lets it go from 3 and airballs it, and Ruiz tried to save it, but Beckford grabbed it. Up ahead to Talbot. Finds Walsh, and somehow off the deflection of Danian, it garums right
Kevin
back
Walsh.
into the hands of Talbot, who finds Walsh, who lays it in. So it's a 10-point advantage.
Another unlucky break for Plattsburgh. And Brooks says that's not his strength on the offensive side of the basketball. He's got to work it into his bigs or get somebody else an open look.
And again, Ruiz loses the handle, but then draws the foul.
Oneonta foul on number
So
33, Brian Beckford. Second
the
personal,
foul called on
team
Beckford.
6.
That's his second, team 6th. Inbounds to Brooks, and Plattsburgh has really got to wake it up right now as they find themselves down 10 points. And they're going to call a foul away from the ball on Brian Hook, so that will send Ferris Thomas to the line for a 1-and-1. As that is the
Oneonta foul,
7th
number
team
21,
foul.
Brian Hooks, his first, team 7. At the line for the Cardinals, number 33, Ferris Thomas.
And that's been the
Shooting
only thing really the
1-and-1.
Red Dragons have done wrong recently. They've been a little bit too over-aggressive on defense, and Plattsburgh is sent to the line for 1-and-1.
And Thomas misses the front end of a 1-and-1. McLaren back into the game for Oneonta. He has it now.
The crowd is trying desperately to get their team back into this game.
Gillette finds a spotting up, hooks for 3, and that's good.
3-point goal, Brian Hooks.
And that's Hooks' second 3 on the game. He's shot it well when he's got the open look, and he's their best. He's Oneonta's best shooter.
Ruiz throws up a wild shot. That's no good. And this is amazing. An
Ball out of
18 to
bounds.
3,
Oneonta
an
ball.
18 to 5 run right now. A 28 to 5 run right now.
5:22 to go in the first half.
As Plattsburgh
Timeout,
finds itself down
Full
13,
timeout.
and they haven't looked this bad all year.
This is the worst we've seen Plattsburgh play in a real long time, and credit Oneonta for forcing their style of basketball on the Cardinals, and they have just completely frustrated them.
Plattsburgh was up 15 to 5 early, and now they find themselves down 33 to 20.
And it's an impressive run, to say the least. And everybody on Oneonta has contributed, from the shooting of Hooks to Gillette, to the versatility of Brian Beckford. Every player on Oneonta has stepped it up and made it extremely hard for the Cardinals. And on the Cardinals end of it, somebody needs to step it up.
And really, you have to look for Ruiz or Thomas right now to step it up, because those are your go-to guys. And right now, I think you got to look at Steve Thomas, because Chris Ruiz is a little off right now. He's dropping some balls on try when he's just simply catching it. He can't hold on to the basketball right now. And he got blocked by Beckford. Beckford's definitely in his head a little bit, and you can definitely see on their faces, on his face at least, he looks a little flustered as Ferris Thomas does the smart thing that a senior should do, huddles the team up right now and trying to get them back into this game. They are a talented team, so they can definitely come back in this game.
And they're only down 13. They played horrible. They should feel like they're only down 13, but the the turning point of this game thus far was when Carl Munderland was sent to the bench with 2 fouls. Ever since, Oneonta has completely dominated this basketball game. And we see here Plattsburgh's trying to change things up with their full court press, which hopefully will be bring a little success and force maybe a turnover.
They break the pass. This is McLaren. Throws up an air ball, and Ruiz pulls it down. Brooks spots up from 3. Short. And tip to Thomas. Nice job by Ruiz to tip it to Ferris Thomas, and he lays it in.
Thomas.
Excellent work by Thomas to tip it to Ruiz, or Ruiz to tip it to Thomas. Maybe that can get the crowd a little bit more involved.
Hooks. And Oneonta will work that clock a little bit.
And this is a smart play by Talbot and the Red Dragon. Slow things down, play your style of basketball, and get a good shot.
They find Talbot on the wing. Now comes up. 5 on the shot clock. Hooks. 3 on the shot clock. Talbot, 2 on the shot clock. Lets it go. In and out and taken down by Danyon. 4:13 left to go here in the first half. Cardinals down 11.
A bit of a hand check on McLaren, and that'll send Ruiz to the line.
8th team foul, so a 1-and-1 for Chris Ruiz.
And these front ends of the 1-and-1s are huge. You want to convert on
foul
them.
number 44, Dan McLaren. First personal, team's 8th.
Ruiz makes the front end.
Cardinals, number 15, Chris Ruiz, shooting the back end of a 1-and-1.
Second one is no good and pulled down by McLaren.
Excellent box out by the Red Dragons. Did not allow any offensive rebounds. And that's been part of the problem for the Cardinals. They thrive off of offensive rebounds, and they haven't gotten many.
Walsh spins, and no good. Offensive rebound, blocked by Danyon. Up ahead is Brooks to the basket, lays it up and in.
Panama Brooks.
And defense leads to offense. The Chris Ruiz block and get it into the hands of Brooks, and he's able to push the basketball for the easy layup.
Talbot calls out a play. Right now, Beckford's on the bench, so Plattsburgh might be able to make a little bit of a run right now. Nice crossover right there from Talbot and gets it to go.
He's been
Troy
impressive.
Talbot.
He likes to get in there to the paint with the big fellas.
On the other end, Brooks comes right back, gets inside, and
Brooks.
lays it right in. So point guards showing their use of speed and quickness.
Point guard against point guard, and they're going right at each other.
On the other end, Gillette to the basket and laying it in.
Shane Gillette.
I don't know how Gillette was able to get that basketball over the hands of Danyon, but he was able to find the backboard and lay it in. That was impressive.
2:55 left here to go. Cardinals trail by 10. Oneonta has looked very good here in the first half, especially while playing on the road. Ruiz on the drive, spins, shoots, and scores. Chris Ruiz.
This is a great sign for the Cardinals. They're starting to find their rhythm offensively, and they've converted on the last 4 possessions.
Oneonta has answered every time the Plattsburgh has got it into single digits. Hooks to the lane, blocked by Danyon, and out of bounds. Walsh wanted a foul there, and a technical foul going to be charged on Kevin Walsh.
And Talbot is unhappy with Walsh's play and arguing the foul.
Technical
Gets right
foul
into
charged
his
to
face,
Oneonta's
telling him to
15,
smart
Kevin
up.
Walsh. His second personal, team's 9th.
And he must have said something that the official obviously didn't take liking to.
Yeah, it didn't look like he said much, but he must have said something to
But
deserve.
on that, I do
At the line for
understand his
Plattsburgh,
case
number 23,
there.
Steve
Ruiz
Thomas,
looked like he
shooting
did
2.
foul him when he came down, But the ref didn't see it, and Steve Thomas will go to the line for 2 free throw shots, and that's a big foul, so you can't really do that right here. This lets Plattsburgh right back into the game.
Especially when you're up 8, you really don't want to give the Cardinals any other reason to get fired up, and a technical foul do that.
Real classy, coach.
So Walsh will come out of the game now and take a seat on the bench. So on the other end, we'll come back down, and Oneonta will inbound. McLaren back in. Derek Hagan back in to replace Walsh. Gillette finds McLaren. Now they get it back up top. Gillette. McLaren puts up a shot. No good. Skying for the rebound is Thomas. Pulled down and outlets to Brooks. Brooks slows things up. Now throws up a two-pointer, and that's way short.
Brooks was feeling it after a few drives to the basket, but I would like to see him to continue to drive to the basket. He hasn't found success with his jumper, but when he takes it with the drive, he's been successful.
Hook's shot was way short. Gets his own rebound, though, and resets to Talbot. Shot clock didn't reset, 13. Almost intercepted by Thomas. 7 on the shot clock. Gillette throws up a shot, and in and out. A minute here to go in the first half. Thomas, coast to coast, throws it up, no good. Under a minute now. Plattsburgh down 7.
You would have liked to see Thomas switch hands and go to his left. He was going the wrong way and threw it up with his right, and he wasn't able to find the basket.
Hagan with Danian up in his face. Gives to Gillette. Now Talbot has it. Talbot poked away by Thomas and taken by Tagney. Gives to Ruiz. Ruiz crosses over, drives baseline, tried to force a pass.
Not a good play at all by Ruiz. He could have held the ball at midcourt and settled for the last shot, but instead Oneonta will get another chance to extend the lead going into halftime.
Oneonta will hold for one final shot. They played an excellent first half. Talbot on the drive, stops his dribble. Throws up a shot at the buzzer, way short, and that's going to end the first half as Oneonta comes in here and plays very good. Strong, crisp first half as they lead the Cardinals 37-30 in the SUNYAC Conference Finals. And Brian Beckford really stole the show in the first half for Oneonta as he did it all. Started on the defensive end, had a couple of nice blocks on Ruiz, had a couple of steals, and threw one down for a dunk, and did it all. And also credit Troy Talbot getting to the basket, laying in, getting some easy layups, and getting some easy hoops.
And Shane Gillette also for the Oneonta Red Dragons had a huge half along with Talbot and Beckford. And for Plattsburgh, you just have to regroup at halftime and try. And somebody has to step up
Your
for you.
Plattsburgh
Whether
State
it's Ruiz,
cheerleading
we
team.
didn't hear anything from Earl Danian, or Ferris Thomas for that matter. So somebody else besides Ruiz and Thomas is going to have to step up for them.
And when we come back in the second half, we'll recap the first half and give you the start of the second half. Right now, you're watching Cardinal basketball on PSTV, and once again, we'd like to thank PrimeLink for streaming it on the internet. Brian Fody with Dan Massey. We'll see you in a few minutes.
Your Plattsburgh State cheerleaders. Your Plattsburgh State kick line.